Welcome to tonight's Fan Zone show. It's 7:30. Well, it's gone past 7:30 because I'm late. I'm sorry about that. My name's Phil. This is Leicester Fan TV. We are going to talk about transfers. Well, that didn't take long, did it? Because there's not a lot to talk about, but there's a few little rumours. We want your views, we want your comments on everything to do with Leicester City. Obviously on Wednesday we've finally got a match, fingers crossed. Leicester will be hosting Spurs. So get your views in, get your comments in, let me know what you think about the lack of transfer news for Leicester City and of course the Spurs trip coming to the King Power Stadium on Wednesday. Hopefully. Stay tuned, get your views in, get your comments in.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. Are you ready for the show? Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. We want your views, we want your comments, so join us live. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Leicester Fan TV. We are live every single Monday with myself at 7:30. So give me your views, give me your comments. What do you want to talk about? I want to talk about transfers or lack of them. So do get your views in, get your comments in. We probably want to know who do you think we should sign, what position do we need to strengthen, etc., etc. Are you getting frustrated seeing other players sign for other teams? Let's get a few hellos in. Firstly, Ethan says we need to sign a new medical team first. We know, listen, there's been a heck of a lot of injuries at Leicester. So, and we've got that state-of-the-art stadium, state-of-the-art training facilities. What is going on? Redface says, so happy JJ is back. Do you know what? Don't rush him back. I just don't want to see James Justin rush back. He's had a massive injury. Let's save it for... Let's not rush him back. I almost hope he doesn't play against Spurs. I don't want to see him rush back. LCFC, do you agree with me about JJ? I don't know. Maybe you say, no, chuck him back in there. LCFC Gray says, good evening, Phil. How are you? I'm well. Ethan says, shocked by the lack of transfer news when all I hear is we need a new player 24/7. Well, Ethan, do you think we need a new player or are you not so sure? I think with this many injuries, we certainly need it. Jamie Vardy may be out for longer than anticipated. Johnny Evans out for quite a while on top of everybody else. James Justin for me, don't rush him back. Jason, good evening to you. Hope you're well. Let me know. Now, listen, I'll put this link out here. If you want to come on camera tonight, tell me about the lack of transfers. Talk to me about who you think we should sign. I put the link in there. Click on that link. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. That's it. Maybe a bit longer. Have your views. I want to get as many fans on as possible. I think we missed out on Coutinho. Yeah, he's a world-class player, isn't he? And obviously, Steven Gerrard did the business, got him in there, scored his first goal for Villa against Man United. Now, don't forget tonight, I need you to like and share this. Wherever you're watching, if you're watching on YouTube, good evening to you. If you're watching on Facebook, good evening to you there as well. Like and share on Facebook, subscribe, whatever you'd want to do, get your comments in there. Ross says, hi, Phil. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton sang happy birthday to my dad. That Phil, Ross's dad, on 5 Live the other day. Great for that, Ross. Maybe he'll come on in a bit and tell us about that because there's not much transfer news to talk about. Although, listen, let's set... As ever, before I'm about to do the show, yes, I do have a look round. And of course, do we need to sign anybody? Yes, we definitely do, because I'm seeing more Leicester players linked with going out from us. Now, I'm not saying Yuri's going to go in January, but he is definitely being linked with Arsenal. Get your views in on that. Not sure it's a step upwards, but hey, look at the league table this year. You might say it's. I've seen Castagna linked with Juve, with Juventus. You know, we've got some of these players. I'm seeing more about people being signed in. I'm nearly getting to the stage where I'd say Ryan Bennett would be a decent signing. That's where we're scraping. Jono says, could do with some footy to watch. Me and you too, honestly. I'm fed up of watching other teams play. Mark, good evening, says, think we need to sign 2 players, centre-back and a midfielder in case Yuri goes. I don't think Yuri's going to go in January, do you? I really don't think he will. Andy says, hope Spurs is on. Oh, you and me both. It's felt like ages since there's been a Leicester match. All right, Joe, hope you're well. Good evening. LCFC Gray says defence needs sorting in there. Keep getting comments in. We've got so many. Mark says we need players ASAP, defender and a midfielder and a winger. Here's a question for you. Mark, and anybody else who's watching, is Lookman doing enough for you? Is Lookman doing enough for you to sign him maybe in the summer? I'm to be convinced still. I think he's okay. But a bit like I thought Nathan Dyer was okay in the Premier League winning season. Is he good enough to sign? I think Lookman's okay. That's as far as I'm going to go. It would depend on the price tag. If you said Lookman was 15 million, if you say he's like upwards near 30 million, I don't think that is. Patrick says we haven't got any cash, simple loans only. Yes, Patrick, let's get a loan in. I mean, Coutinho was a loan in. Could have had it. We've been linked with, oh my gosh, Christian Evans, Ericsson. Thank you, Phil. The brain, you could see it ticking. Christian Everson, but no, he looks like he might go to Brentford. What is going on? What is going on? JJ needs nurturing. I definitely agree with you on that. Curtis says Ericsson would be amazing, but we need a defender as soon as possible. Curtis, listen, what do you think to this, and what does everybody else watching think? Is the trouble with trying to get a defender, if you're a half-decent defender, you're looking at Leicester, do you look at the squad and go, yeah, they want me now, but when Fofana's back, he's going to be ahead of me. When Johnny Evans is back, he's going to be ahead of me. Marty may even be ahead of me. Vestergaard, you know, we're not going to sign a first team defender now, I don't think. I don't think you're going to attract the right one in at this stage of the season. So you're almost saying somebody come in, which is why, like Patrick said, maybe it is a loan would be in there. Mark says I really like Donny van de Beek if Tielemans goes, a decent centre-back. I think he means and a decent centre-back. Listen, if Yuri does go, which I hope to goodness he doesn't go, I'm sort of thinking maybe Kieran Dewsbury-Hall's going to step into the place. Nick, good evening to you. Frustrated, yes, we need new blood in the squad, but even if we don't have the funds, and we don't have the funds, we have to work with what we've got. I know, but I think it's a long-term thing there. Kurt, Paris, hope you're well, Paris. I've got a peek above your big one here. Got COVID right now, Paris. Get well soon. Hope you're all right. Missing the Spurs game. But I think 2-1 win for us. Been meaning to say Dad isn't happy about Forest Leicester. Yes, it's going to be right in my house. It is, Paris's brother is a Man United fan, I think, and a dad's a Forest fan. What a great household to live in, especially if you're a Leicester fan. Jason says JJ's had some much needed game time in the under-23s. His return will be fine. Jason, I'm not convinced. Honestly, I wouldn't rush him back. Curtis says the same as well in there. Matty, good evening. I've put a link out there. If you want to come on it, I'll share it again. There's the link. Honestly, just click on it and give us your views. So many comments coming in, which is great. Keep chatting as you are chatting in there. Curtis is saying, yes, Donny van de Beek, definitely. Jono says, we need to sign another Fofana. Young, hungry and promising. Here's something. Oh, he mentions Benkovic. Yes, a bit like Benkovic should have been. Benkovic, 24 years old. Is he officially the worst ever buy for Leicester City? Is he officially the worst? If he's not the worst ever buy, either click on the link and come on camera or put in the comments why Benkovic, because I'm saying Benkovic is the worst ever buy that Leicester have made. And I'll defend that if you want to come on. I'll defend it if you want to put in the comments. I'll tell you quickly why I think he is. 17 million was he? And quite a lot of wages every week for the last three years. And I believe didn't make one Premier League appearance. So to me, that's the biggest waste of money in Leicester City's history. Have we done worse than that? That much money? I reckon with wages, Benkovic has cost us about 20 million. And in the end, we've not sold him. We've just said that's enough. Whatever has gone on there, 20 million up the Swanee. Ross has clicked that link. Finally, somebody's clicked the link. Ross, I'm going to give Ross 60 seconds. Ross's 60 seconds turned into 10 minutes. Ross, I'm going to keep you short tonight. What do you want to talk about, Ross? Here we go.
So the worst sign, in my opinion, is not about, well, if you're not about money, it'd have to be Junior Lewis or Martin Keown.
Go on then.
But yeah, because they were just so bad. Well, in fact, Martin Keown was so bad, he left us 6 months later. And so did Steve Howe, so did Chris Macon, so did Kevin Pressman. He was at worst. Oh, I could go on. But money-wise, yeah, 100% Benkovic. But in players-wise, the ones I've mentioned.
But all those players you mentioned actually pulled on the Leicester City shirt and played.
Fair enough.
So this is what I say. I just think he's the worst buy ever. Because some people say Slimani is the worst buy or Adi Akinbaye. But I'm like, these players played, they scored goals, they put some effort in. Benkovic, what did we see in Benkovic? What did Rodgers see in him when he took him up to Celtic and play him? And then what has gone on? 20 million quid.
Obviously, we don't know what's going on in the back. But you said then, you asked about players who would sign. You know, I know Burnley are calling off every game under the sun at the minute, but I wouldn't mind taking the Cornet, is it the left back? I know he's at Ivory Coast at the minute, isn't he? The African Cup of Nations. Maxwell Cornet is called. Very good player, really talented. But there's the comment then, I think we should bring someone home. He's stuck at Reading at the minute. Why don't we bring Liam Moore home?
I always like Liam Moore. Liam Moore's one of those players. Again, he's a local lad. I think he's Loughborough Barrow lad, a bit like Hamza. I never wanted to see Liam Moore go. I thought he was quality, showed lots of promise, but would he come back? Would you would have him back?
I think he would. If you put a poll out there, and if you ask, would Liam Moore, Liam Moore got offered the contract to come back to Leicester, I think he'd take it within a heartbeat. You know, end of the day, you know, all the injuries that we've got, you know, obviously he only left because obviously the lack of first team, because obviously we had Hoof and Morgan and stuff. So obviously you can understand why he left in the first place. He didn't leave on a sour note. He left because he wanted game time. And a lot of people will say yes. And he's still 28. He's not old. He's not young, but he's not old. I'd take him within a heartbeat.
Ross, thank you so much for joining. We put Ross's question there. Would you take Liam Moore back? Do you know what? You'll have to forgive me. Has Liam Moore got an E on the end? Do you know?
Yes, it has. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Ross. Let Ross go. Great to see you. Are you going on Wednesday or you're watching it from sunny Sheffield?
I'm watching it from here. So
Chips
can't get to the game, but I'm hoping to get a Forest ticket. But you know,
yes. Aren't we all? Fingers
we'll
crossed.
We'll have to wait and see.
All right then, Ross. We'll see you soon. Cheers, mate. Ross, thank you there. Asked, would you take Liam Moore back? For me, yes, I would. I always like Liam Moore, and I think he plays with passion. I believe he's from Leicestershire. Let me know what you're saying. Imran says Liam Moore was quality, would be good stand-in. I think, would you there? Patrick saying we're way ahead of Moore now, not good enough. Interesting. Mark saying getting him on loan. Curtis is saying, yes, get Liam Moore back 100% in there. Jakubovic never played a game, third choice keeper. Yes, but Kaysen, I think he cost us 1 million. Again, my stats are not, I'm not Jamie from the Fox's Arms with his stato brain cells. I think he cost us about 1 million. And yeah, I think we pay him about 20 grand a week. So he's not played. Benkovic cost us a fortune more. I can see Jono Towers has clicked on the link. We'll start off with Jono about would he take Liam Moore back. Jono, thanks for clicking on the link. Hope you're well. How's your arm?
Yeah, my arm's on the mend. Definitely on the mend. I'm having physio now, and so should be back playing football hopefully in March.
Fantastic. Are you any good at the back?
No.
Let's start. Would you take Liam Moore back?
I think we've moved on from that sort of level. I'll be honest. I think he'd be a squad player if he came in.
Yeah, so but that's what I mean. I don't think if you sign any defender now, Jono, they're not, when everybody's back, they're not going to get ahead of Fofana, are they, and Johnny Evans?
Well, possibly not Fofana. I think for me, Johnny Evans is, you know, if you look at his last 2 seasons, Johnny Evans, the amount of games he's played, unfortunately, I feel like next season he's probably going to be a squad player or a bench player. I think it's a player that we might need to look at replacing. I think you know, Evans he's not going to get any better the age he is now. So I think that Evans, I think Fofana was brought in really for the long-term succession. Maybe. Yeah. So I think we definitely need another first choice centre back in my view. Vestergaard's always going to be a squad player for me. Going on to what you were saying about worst ever signings, I've got a few candidates. What about Kapushka or Giselle? They're pretty shocking. We've had some shockers. Musa and Slimani as well up there for me as worst ever signings. But yeah,
people always rave about Leicester's talent scouting and all this type of stuff, but we have had a few nightmares in the past few years as well. I just got to say Benkovic, because it literally, I'm trying to think of anybody who's cost 20 million quid over 3 years and never played a game in the Premier League.
It's really frustrating, Benkovic, because when we signed him, he looked really good. He looked like a big, strong guy. He looked quick. He's good on the ball. So I was following him, all the way around when he went to Celtic, and he looked good there. I was getting all excited, thinking he's going to come back. And then we got Brendan in, and we thought, well, that's going to really work because they worked together in Celtic, and just something's not gone right. And it's really frustrating, isn't it? Because he looked like, when he was fit, a half decent prospect. So really frustrating. But yeah, what can you say? I mean, we need to get another Fofana in for me. Someone who's, 21 or a young, sort of really young, eager, promising centre back. Someone who can, over the next 2 or 3 years, sort of become, the next Johnny Evans, I think, alongside maybe Fofana.
Yeah, I agree. And when I say worst ever signing, it's not. I mean, people are putting some names up here like Dennis Wise. Yeah, not a good signing in any way. Junior Lewis, Musa. A few people said Musa. He scored a few goals. It didn't work out for him. I don't think Musa was given much of a chance. A bit like Slimani, I don't think was really bought the chances. Kaysen says we sold Benkovic for 5 million. I believe we didn't, Kaysen. I believe we've just ripped up his contract.
We just ripped the contract up and let him go, didn't we?
We've not sold him for anything. He's just gone. Again, there might be various issues. Joanna's saying about Liam Moore has had his captaincy took off him because he wants to leave. So that's why there could be rumours of him.
I think it's fair to say Benkovic, in terms of the King Power era, is probably up there. He's definitely in the top 5 worst signings. But yeah,
a few people have mentioned Phil Jones. I can't even remember how old Phil Jones is. He's too old, isn't he?
I mean, I don't know what the answer is at the back. I'll be honest with you. Vestergaard's definitely not it.
No, I'm wrong. Phil Jones is 29 and obviously still playing at Man United at the moment. But I suppose it's a shout. Could be the next Johnny Evans. Jono, why are we not linked with many signings, do you think? Do you think we just have to accept it that the money isn't there? With King Power at the moment, are they looking at this season maybe and going, like I said about a week or two ago in my Monday night show, I said, for me, this season, if we just survive it mid-table, just above mid-table, and maybe have a go at the European Conference League, go again for next year. That many injuries, what do you want to do?
Well, I was scrolling through Twitter this morning, and I saw a comment from, I don't know who it was, but they said if we won our four games in hand, which we now have on, I think, on West Ham, we would go above them in 4th place. Now, that's assuming that all the other teams with games in hand also lose. So it's a bit of a silly comment. But I thought to myself, well, if that is the case, and who's to say we couldn't win all those 4 and get it up into, there's still something to play for. I'm not all gloom and doom. I don't think we're going to, I think we've got to buck our ideas up to become in the top 6. Certainly we do. But I think there's still something to play for there. And certainly the Europa Conference thingy, whatever it's called, I think, we should be really looking at that as an option to get some silverware. I really do.
But then you've just said that, and then, well, why are we not being linked with anybody?
Well, I just think we've got no money. It's simple as that. It's really frustrating. January is always tricky, isn't it, to get players in? Saying that, we signed in Diddy in January, didn't we? Tielemans.
And Tielemans, again, it's one of those where, people say, oh, you don't get anything in January. It's not true. And we've just seen Villa have signed 2 players. Yeah. And, there's deals to be done out there. Reedy says here, he said, if we win our 4 games, we can reach top 5 if other results go our way. I hear what people are saying with that. The reality is Brighton, Wolves, Man United, Spurs and Arsenal are all above us, and they've all got at least 2, and some of them have got 4 games in hand. So the reality is if we were to win our 4, some of those would win some games as well. But I still get it. It could still, you only need to put a bit of a run together, Jono, and it could be a decent season. Like Andy said, I'd rather have the points than the games in hand, which I think it is. What's your take, Jono, on Youri Tielemans? Because there's a lot of chitter-chatter about him going to leave Leicester, and he's not signing this new contract. And even Rodgers is quoted in some of the media as saying it's a possibility that he's going to look elsewhere.
Yeah, I think we've all got to kind of accept the fact that he's a quality player, and I think that he probably will be up and off at the end of the season. But I think he's biding his time to see where might be the best route for him to go. I'd be gutted if he went to Arsenal. I'll be quite frank with you. I think, albeit they're doing all right this season. I think it's for someone of Yuri's quality, I think it would be a bit of a sideways step. I know that Arsenal fans would probably berate me for saying that, but in terms of where we are as opposed to Arsenal, I feel like it. Okay, in terms of the size of club, it's just a sizable step forward. But in terms of where they are, in terms of a squad and the ability to win stuff, I think it's a sideways step. I wouldn't begrudge him if Liverpool or Man City came in. I wouldn't begrudge him a move at all, or even any of the big sides abroad. I think he's probably taken Leicester as far as he can. In all honesty, he deserves a good move to be able to start winning, and playing Champions League football, which we can't provide him. Let's be honest. So.
That's why, again, when people say, "Oh, we weren't ready for Champions League the last 2 seasons when we missed out," Jono, I was first in there to say it will cost us because players will the ones we've already got will want to leave us, and the ones who we want to sign won't join us.
I just wonder what could we get for Tielemans in terms of a price. If we can get a decent price, then that might be the money that we need to start rebuilding a little bit.
Are you talking about January, or you're talking about the summer?
No, in the summer, I think. I can't see him leaving in January unless we really do desperately need the money in January. But I don't think that there's no signs that we do. So I think he will be gone in the summer. I think that's what's happening at the moment. They're all sort of positioning themselves to start putting bids in for him in the summer. I think that's what's happening at the moment.
Thanks, Jono. Thanks for your views and comments as ever. Really appreciate it. We'll see you soon and hope that arm keeps getting better so you can play for Leicester. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Phil. Speak to you soon.
Cheers. I've completely lost the screen. I don't know if you can still... Just my camera's gone. Can you still hear me? I'm going to add Reedy in. Reedy. My screen went blank there. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard there. I'm going to add you in, Reedy. Just bear with. I want to get a load of comments on while we get Reedy's view. Dan says, I don't think he'll be able to process if Tielemans left to Man United, Liverpool or Arsenal or someone in the big six. He perhaps is going to be. Why are we still mentioning Arsenal? Because it is a rumour, and there's a lot of rumours out there on it. Tielemans hasn't extended his contract with us so far. He's had enough time, so he's waiting for something else, unfortunately. I think, Joanna, you're right. I think we are definitely looking that he is going to go. Dan's saying, I hope he goes abroad. He might do. He might do. There's been talk of people like Real Madrid going in there. Mark's saying he'd be worth over 65 million. Patrick saying 50 million in the summer, unless bidding war takes place. Patrick, that's a low ball, but he's only got a year left on his contract in the summer, and that might be what it would be. Neil says he chatted on James' famous Aftermath show. With the money we could get, we could actually upgrade with a similar player, but a yard more pace. He's in there. Tielemans won't be a gooner. I wouldn't rule it out, LCFC Gray. I wouldn't be out. A lot of people, a lot of especially foreign European players, very much like the looks of Arsenal. Mark saying he is unbelievably talented. Ross says rather see Yuri go to a club like Liverpool or Chelsea and not Arsenal. They guarantee Champions League. Ross. Jamie from the Foxes Arm says it's the Evans hater. Well, listen, Jono was just saying, he wasn't backing you up, but he was saying Johnny Evans, 34, injured again and been injured on and off the last year or so. It perhaps is starting to get towards the end of his career now. Would you be trying to sign a centre-back at the moment? What would you do with it?
It's a hard one because, like I said to Jake and Sam like today that realistically we don't need to sign anyone because the team we've got, if everyone was fully fit, we don't need anyone.
But they're not fully fit
at the moment. We are slim, so. But would someone really come in just to be sitting on the bench once everyone's back fit? I'd take more easily. We bought James Justin from Luton. He's done well. Why can't we bring him back and more could show him what he's made of? You wouldn't mind sitting on the bench some of the games.
Yeah, I agree. Even if we took him on loan, maybe. I mean, he's 28 years old, so coming into his prime, as a central defender, obviously knows the club well. I don't think Liam Moore particularly wanted to leave at the time, but I don't know.
I'd take him.
I'd have
Honestly,
no
I'd take him.
problems having him back.
No, I wouldn't.
at
Like
all.
I say, as well, with him apparently looking for a move, why don't we go in for him? He can't cost much, surely. Yes, he's English, yeah, but he's in the Championship. Surely, what? Even if we bought him 20 mil max, maybe.
Oh, I don't think we'd pay anywhere near that for him. Really,
That's for me is okay.
I would have thought
in.
I would have thought you'd have got Liam Moore for 5 million.
Exactly.
I
even that is still good enough for me.
Yeah, I agree. So let us know what you think to that. Andy says, if Yuri stays, would really wear a shirt with Evans on the back?
No, I'm
he
right,
says
thanks.
no. Rob saying, get Tarkowski now. I thought Burnley wouldn't sell any players at this time of the year to try and save themselves, but they've just sold Chris Wood to Newcastle. So
the thing is but that's the case. They couldn't do anything with Chris Wood. Apparently, Newcastle brought him out with his buyout clause, so they couldn't say no.
I think Tarkowski's only has he got 6 months left on his contract?
I don't know, but sure. Or let's just say with the position they are now, he won't stay there if they go down.
See, Lee agrees with you about we've got a brilliant team. I don't think we need to sign anyone. You're right, but you've got to look at how many people are injured, and I think you've also got to take it. I'm starting to come around to I don't agree with you on Johnny Evans really, but I am starting to think he is now an injury takes harder, and same with Vardy. People will hate me to say it, but with Vardy, this could be almost the end of Vardy next because he's not going to play that much this season. I don't think. I think he's going to maybe cameo performances next year.
Vardy will be more of a sub now. I think now Dak has got the chance to do what he can do in the next few weeks or even month of games we've got to play. He'll be the main asset in the attack. Now Daka will be, and hopefully it shows that he needs to really be starting the games, and Vardy needs to be that impact sub that we need.
Well, that's what Nick Moore's agreeing with you. He's saying Daka is Vardy's replacement. He was bought into that. I just think with Vardy's injury has almost been an ongoing injury for about a year now, hasn't he? He did it in early last year, 2021, and it's sort of I think he's played on because he's had to. But I do think.
And I think you're right about the Evans thing. I admit, I think partly of Evans is not being as good as he has been is because of his injury. But like you said, even with James Justin, don't bring him back. The moment Evans was fit, I can't remember what game, he got brought back in. Within 20 minutes, it looked like he needed to come off the pitch again.
Johnny Evans. Well, yeah. I think it was Millwall away in the FA League Cup, and I was like, why is Johnny Evans playing in this? Don't rush him back. But I would say the same about James Justin. People have been saying, "Oh, get James Justin back in against Spurs." I'm like, I'd rather not, thanks.
Yeah.
I'd rather.
It's like Ricardo Pereira.
It's a big injury.
It's like Ricardo Pereira in the Liverpool game as well in the cup. Don't get me wrong. I was happy to see him in the lineup, and it was unfortunate the way he got injured was obviously with an injury tackle, but he just didn't look to the form he is. Because I remember that time, I think it was he had a bit of a spell a few months back before he got injured again. He just looked at his best again. And then the moment he gets injured again, he's like, okay, another 8 weeks out. I just don't want to rush anyone back, even Fofana. I think you said Justin and Fofana, both of them, the moment they get back, people think it's going to completely change the game. It won't.
They're not, because as defenders as well, not only, I know they're bombing forward, they're great on the ball. They've got to be prepared when it comes to it, when they're looking at a tackle, to stop a goal or stop a player going through. They've got to look at that and think, well, they've got to not think. They've got to be that confident in their body and in how physically they are that they will make that tackle. And, to get that speed at the back, both Justin and Fofana are pretty quick. Just like you say.
I'm not going to fault Brendan Rodgers if he puts JJ back in on Wednesday. No. But I just think if you now see him get injured again, there's obviously something there saying you shouldn't have started him. And
Nick says here, why rush JJ back? Thomas has looked good. I mean, it has benefit Luke Thomas. Luke Thomas, for me, looks a player. I like him in there. Joanna says, Evans isn't the only one to have come back too early. Loads have. Would never have happened under Dave Rennie. Do you know what, Joanna? That conversation, that topic rumbles on and on and on. Is it Dave? There's two points, which we can't really get into now because we're already overrunning. But Dave Rennie and the new training ground, there's definitely been connections in there. Nick says no point rushing little Wes, JJ, Vardy, Evans, etc. back. If we could make it worse and shaft ourselves even more. I agree.
Can we say maybe at the moment, with all the players out, have we played better with a what's the word for it? Like a defence, it's not normally our defence, like a what you call it? Chowdhury in defence, Wolf in defence. I thought for me, we feel like we've played better in defence since our main defenders have been out.
I mean, listen, if we play against Spurs like we did against Liverpool, which was a less Premier League match, if we play, that's just called guts and glory, how we played against Liverpool. That it wasn't necessarily the most skillful. It was just we want to bloody win it. And that's called attitude. And that's if we play like that against Spurs, we won't have too much of a problem. Not really touched on the Spurs game, really. We've overrun. We'll see you there on Wednesday.
Yes, you will, yes.
We'll see you there. Thanks, Reedy, for joining us. We'll meet you outside the Blues Bar before and after the game. See you later, Reedy.
Yeah, in a bit, mate.
And that offer goes out to every one of you. Come and find us. We'll be outside the Blues Bar pre-kickoff, and then we'll be there. I don't know what's going on with my camera. It's really annoying me. If you can still hear me, great. If not, I'll see you at the match.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, ADT Taxis, Everards, Pukka Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Leicester Riders, Hollogram, The Fox's Arms, Peter's Pizzeria, Hope Against Cancer, and Newby Co estate agents. Make sure to follow us on all of our social channels at Leicester Fan TV. Visit our website, leicesterfantv.com.